Hi,
Hello. Hi.
how are you?
Good, thanks. Nice to meet you.
Hey, you too. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Ah, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
How's your day been?
It's good. I'm getting ready to leave for Morocco tonight, so I have a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, damn. Morocco. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just sitting in cold ass London and you're getting ready to fly out to Morocco. Look at you, fancy pants. Damn.
It's not for an exotic international film shoot or anything. It's just to go meet with my boyfriend who lives out there.
Oh, so it's not even for work. It's pleasure.
No.
You're going to be having fun. Why are you doing this? I'm freezing cold here. You're rubbing this in my face. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I'm a horror filmmaker. I love torturing people. Ha ha.
You still own Canada. Like,
hey man,
what's going on?
We still have snow. I'm just saying.
I need to go. I need to, let's cancel this. We're done. Not putting up with this.
Filmmaker abuse.
Oh man, have you been doing a lot of press for this?
Not a huge amount, I have to say. This is the first big press day.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh man. Yeah. No, this is great. It's always interesting when you get to talk to the people behind something.
Yeah.
Because when you watch, there's always questions, right? There's always like, oh, I wonder how that, and I was wondering if, and then when you can talk to someone about it, you're like, oh, okay, right. Oh, and you like, make it a bit interesting. All right, ask something interesting. Ask something they don't hear all the time. Oh, okay. I've got a great one. Okay, so how heavy is a camera? I know that's not a good question. I wish I asked. You're just racking your brain. You don't want to be boring and generic, and just it needs to be a fun experience for everyone. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Hey man, put it out there. I'm ready.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So cool. Should we get this rocking?
Yeah.
Should we start?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming they're recording, I think.
Yes, I see the recording button on the Zoom screen.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, let's start. Okay, so I am here with Elza Kephart.
It's Elza.
Elza, even. Oh my God. Yes. Elza Kephart. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you stopping by Echo Chamber. I feel that we need to get the elephant out of the room first thing, though. Okay?
Okay, sure.
I know a lot of people are wondering, a lot of people are asking, Slaxx. Why isn't the film called Trousers? You know what I mean? What are you doing?
I have exactly the answer for you, because the whole film started with the word Slaxx. Yes, indeed. The origin of the film was myself and two friends on a road trip, harassing each other by saying over and over the words that the other person hated. And one of my friends hates the word Slaxx. And so I was repeating it to torture her. Obviously, you see, I like torturing people. And then I was repeating it in such a voice that it sounded like a villain. And then that's where the idea came that it had to be a pair of killer pants. As simple as that. Yeah.
That was the genesis of this.
Yeah. It wasn't anything. It wasn't like me saying, "Oh, I have to write a film about fast fashion and its evils." No, it was like literally being very silly.
But that's the thing, right? You some people, you'd be like, "Yo, so how did you come up with the idea for gummy bears. They're like, well, we wanted to talk about, the implicit nature of fast food and the evil of, all of these chemicals, and they make these homogenous items and it's killing the world. Then we have gummy bears. They're bouncing here and bouncing everywhere. Do you understand? You're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Oh, it's interesting. But you were mocking a friend.
Yes.
And you came with this film because it opens up with this whole thing, and you're thinking, oh yeah, there's like ethical films and like the way they make clothes and sweatshirts. I get it, yes. But no.
I know, I feel like I'm disappointing the whole world, and yet I'm being honest. Because I think actually that because I've hated corporate consumer culture my whole life, ever since I was a child, actually. And so I think in a way, this has been in my mind for so long that Slaxx came out of my mind, and I just had to mature for a long time before the idea was ready to be told in the way it had to be told, with what was in my mind, with that criticism.
Yeah,
that's my excuse.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. So, all right. So, when do you realize you're now ready, right? Because I understand there's plenty of times when I've had ideas, stories, concepts, and you'd be like, I want to do this now. I want to do, but it just doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
Like years ago, I was like, I'm going to start a film blog. And it was just like, I tried to start it with some friends and it just did not work. Right. But now, like, I'm doing a film podcast, and it just happened to be a moment in time when it all was like, boom, this can work. And it's not where I want it to be, but it's still able to do a thing for the time being. So when did you get the thing like, okay, I feel this is the moment to tell this story?
It was in 3 parts that the story progressed. So first there was the idea, then we wrote a really bad script, and then years later we wrote a better script, but still wasn't quite there. And we knew, because people were like, okay, it's good, but there's something missing. And then years later, just a friend of mine just suggested I pick it up again, because he really liked the idea. And we brainstormed a little bit, then I brainstormed again with Patricia Gomez. We were like, okay, we're feeling that this is the time. And then I saw a documentary about fast fashion, and that really is where it gelled. And I realized a lot of the elements in the script came from that. Not a lot of the elements, but some of the key elements, like the fashion hauler, came from that documentary. And so it was just, the time was right. I was feeling it. Ideas were flowing, and the crystallization of seeing that documentary made everything just sort of pour out. So that's when I knew it was the right time, because people have always loved the concept of Slaxx. Like over the years, they're like, killer pants, it sounds amazing. So I always thought there was something there, but I just wasn't quite ready. But yeah, sometimes it just takes 20 years.
Hey, look, what they don't tell you about Apple and stuff, like the way it all sounds, that Steve and Wozniak were in the garage and we're like, okay, I think we got a computer. No, they spend ages trying to. I'm adding this to the idea. I don't know if it's official, but I imagine they were in that garage for ages before the first computer rolled out. So sometimes things take time.
Yeah,
right?
it's in your mind.
Yeah, and that's when they become boom, the great thing. Like, how much of like what we see now is from the original? Like, what percentage do you think in the finished product is of original concept?
2 things. There was the concept of Slaxx that killed people, and the character of Libby. That's the only 2 things that stayed. Yeah.
Okay.
Not really. And the good-looking girl who gets killed at the beginning.
Spoiler alert.
Oops. Uh-oh.
God damn it.
As
Now
if
people
it's
know
such
there's
a
a girl
surprise.
in it and someone dies. Like, well done. Like, do they need to see the film now?
Oh, forget
Come on.
it. You know everything. You know everything because no good-looking girls ever die in horror movies.
No.
They always
They're the
live,
ones that say, that's where final girls became a thing.
but they're not the good-looking ones. They're the smart ones who cannot be good-looking at the same time. Maybe that's changed since I was a wee lass.
Yeah, that is the amusing thing about it all, isn't it? The way that kind of concept has changed, but no one really wants to point that thing out.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrote this with Patricia Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
How did that work? Because I've spoken to a few people about writing partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
and I think one of the most interesting has to be oh my god, the two dudes that write The Expanse. I forget their names, which is really helpful. But I think what they do is one of them starts it off, sends it to the other one, and then they write the next bit, and they kind of red robin it. Is that what you call that?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's like back and forth though, but they send it back and forth and write a bit and yeah, do it like that, which is a bit like, huh? Okay.
No, that's not how we wrote. I'm very controlling.
Well, look, and controlling.
Yes, that's what it takes to be a good filmmaker. No, I'm kidding. Well, no, the truth is that I've been writing scripts since I was 15, so I really can write really quickly, and I think I have a very good visual language when I write, and I have very clear dialogue, feelings for characters. So I will write the script, and Patricia will comment on it and give me her feedback. But it's always, it's not just like she's giving me her feedback. She's really implicit or intrinsically attached to the creation process.
Yeah.
So, and she came up with tons of, I was about to say a spoiler, but I won't. Tons of the twists in the film were her idea. So she's really great at, and she's much more horrific than me. If you think I'm mean and controlling, sorry, Patricia, if you're hearing this. No, I'm kidding.
But she's like, no, I'm not. I'm lovely. You're the mean one. What are you saying?
But she plays really nice, but she's actually really mean. No, she would laugh so hard if she heard me saying this. But she brings out a lot of the horrific gore elements. Like she's much more gore slasher than me. So she was like, oh no, we really need this to push this bit. And she'd be like, oh, well, because Slaxx is a slasher, right? So she knows the slasher grammar really well. She's like, well, in a slasher here, this is where this happens. I was like, oh, okay. So she contributes a lot to that. And she's really great at pointing out things that don't work, like the characters that sound false, of pushing me to actually make the script as best as it can be, because she's also a producer. So she's a great creative partner in that respect.
Yeah, I feel that's a pivotal thing to any sort of creation. You need people around you who help. They're scaffolding, to the piece, rather than just critics.
Yeah.
Who just stand and be like, I don't know, I don't really like that. I mean, like, okay, what is it you don't like? Well, I don't know. I don't like. That's really helpful. Thank you. Come again.
Oh no, I've had so many of those people read my scripts and I just want to throw it across the room. No, Patricia's not like that. She'll really pinpoint why it doesn't work. She's really very detail oriented, so she really up until the last thing she'll be like, no, it's still not right, and then I want to throw something at her. I usually throw a pencil, and but I know that in the end sometimes I'm like, no, that's enough, but most of the time I know that if there's something that doesn't quite work, it's because there's something that doesn't quite work. So I really listen to her creative input.
Yeah. I mean, how was the editing kind of process with this? Because usually, you know, you hear that people will view it with a load of people, then they'll get that reaction from them, and then they might make a few little edits. But now there's no viewing in groups, it's all online. So how, yeah, how has that been, that whole process of kind of, you know, just finishing it off and going, okay, that's it, that's the end product we're putting out?
Well, we finished it before COVID hit, so we were able to have people in the room giving us their commentaries. I mean, it's as it usually is. The first cut is super painful, and like the editor and I were like, you know, shocked and not sure what to do. And I was, you know, it took me a while to sort of pick myself back up. And everyone was like, no, but it's almost there. And I was like, what do you mean? You're saying it doesn't work? Ah! So it was really hard because the tone is really bizarre. It's not really a horror comedy. It's one of a French-Canadian critic called it a satire horrifique, a horrifying satire, which I think is more accurate than a horror comedy. Because it's not like, it's funny, but it's not a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's not horror, it's not scary. So yeah, getting that tone was absolutely the hardest thing, and getting the Slaxx character in, because we couldn't afford as much to shoot as much as we wanted to. Obviously, that's even if you have $100 million, that's the case. And so we had to really chart out where Slaxx was missing and how to in a very economical way create a beat of Slaxx's presence so that we felt Slaxx was always sort of lurking around. So that was really difficult. And then, you know, having to reshoot some scenes that didn't work, having to shoot additional material. Up until the end, we were shooting like little bits here and there, like stealing a shot in the edit room, stealing a clock shot to make sure we had this clock going, this like clock theme going. And it was hard. It was stressful. And Miranda, the editor, and I are friends, so it was very big stress on our friendship. We came out of it. Like, she's awesome. She's such a talented editor. But and you know, with the producers, it was also very difficult. It was very stressful. That was, I would say, probably the most stressful part. That and creating the pants, that was really stressful to know whether it was going to work. Yeah, the pants and the editing.
I mean, hey, it works, right? It definitely works, because I mean, one thing that, you know, I like is when you have something like this, you don't see like the big bad all the time. Right, so it's fleeting glances, and then it's just like, suddenly it's there, and then you don't see it for a while. You know what I mean? That really builds up the tension. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know.
Great.
And I have to say, right, the end is freaking chilling, right? And it's just because, I don't know, as you see, you know, it kind of, it's a flashback to the beginning kind of, and then you see the girl turn around, and I don't know what it is. It's just that, it's just like, oh no, just was like after, because everything that we now know, and then you just had this fleeting moment of this girl turn and look at you, you're like, don't look at me, please don't. Damn it, it wasn't me.
It's all of us. That's the point.
No, I never want a pair of Slaxx in my life.
Yes. I mean, that actually was, I wouldn't say it was an accident, but it was a happy accident. I did a lot of research. Like, I went online to find photos of child workers in India and videos and all that stuff. And there was one video, it was like about child laborers. And there was a scene, or I don't know, it's not a scene, but a moment when the camera was following this young girl walking down a field, and she turns around and looks, and I was like, oh my God. So I knew then that I had to put that in the film. Yeah, so it didn't come, and also that came with building the Slaxx character as the Kirat character. Because we had to, that's one of the reasons there's a lot of posters of in the film. Like, you'll see a poster of the Kirat sort of avatar, we had to build the feeling that not just Slaxx the pants, but Kephart the soul was in it. And so we really had to build that, and getting that footage and interspersing it in the film really helped as well to build like an affinity for these pants.
Oh man, yeah. Like it must be good to kind of have this. What your last film was like 2013, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, that's a bit of a gap to this. So it's like this. You know, you want this to be good after all that time. You're like, oh god, how is it going to be received? What's it going to be like? And yeah, you know, you killed it. Like this is a great film.
Oh, thanks.
I honestly enjoyed it. But sometimes, you know what I mean, you watch something and feel like, oh, god damn it, now I've got to speak to the creative team. Okay, what can I ask without saying it's great? But no, this I really did enjoy. You know, I was disappointed, right? When a certain person bites it. I was like, oh man, damn it! Thought they were gonna make it.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I really did it because I've worked in I worked at a cinema, right? And that whole fake, hey, we're all gonna be great. The bus is here, yay, 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 and all of that, and you're just like, oh, what's wrong with you people? You know what I mean? And it's just like that gave me flat, they gave me PTSD. I'm just like, no, that was years ago. Come back.
Well, that's the real horror of Slaxx to me, is that corporate culture, that corporate mind control. You know, and it's no accident that Harold Landsgrove escapes, that he doesn't get killed, unfortunately. So I'm glad that brought you chills. I mean, I've never worked in retail, but I worked as a temp, and a couple of times, you know, I was the sassy temp answering the phone, and I just saw this corporate bullshit, and I was like, how are these people working in this toxic soup all day? This, like, I'm here just for a day and I want to barf, you know?
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, and I think it harms people's souls, honestly. It's very detrimental to, I think, to people's well-being.
But yeah, it was, you know, a fitting kind of canvas for this story. Yeah, it worked. Like, how was the casting? How did you find all of these very talented actors and actresses to be in the film?
Just through the regular casting process. We had a casting director in Montreal who put a call for entry for a call for casting across Canada, and we just got all these people, and it was great. I mean, Craig, we were hoping to get more of a name actor, but no one was really biting. And so at the end, I think it was like a week out or 10 days before the shoot, that I was like, okay, we have to find someone like these, and these guys are not answering. We need them in character, pretty much, the secondary lead. And so we just, like, you know, had to a mad dash across Canada to find him. But it turned out he lives in Montreal, but he's from Manitoba, so that was very funny. And then the only person that we didn't do casting, like regular casting for, was Kephart. She came through the choreographer who did the Slaxx dancing. I'm not giving anything away here. So I told her, you know, we're going to need to find a young girl, and she had sent me a video of her, a dance class she teaches, and I saw this little girl in her video, and there was something in her gaze and her energy on the screen that was like, oh my God, I'm terrified of this kid. So I told her, who's this? I want to see her. And she brought her in, and, you know, she's not an actress at all. But she's a dancer, which I think is sort of performative.
Yeah.
And we just told her a couple of things, like, here, look over there, or pretend you're struggling. And we're like, oh my God, this kid's awesome. So, but it was, the casting director couldn't find anyone. Honestly, we had to go through the South Asian community. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think Maybe because South Asian families maybe don't, maybe it's not as accepted to go into acting. Although Shruti is South Asian, so I don't know.
I think it's, you know, from like friends and things that I know, it's just like sometimes, you know, the parents are mad liberal and just like, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. Sometimes it's just like, nope, when you grow up, you're going to be this, or you got to do this. And this is, you know, so yeah, I think it really does depend.
Yeah, of course.
You know, which is, yeah, it seems crazy, but
oh, I understand. And it's true. I shouldn't generalize. It's totally depends. And the parents were very excited. They came on the set and they were just totally thrilled that their young girl was in this film. So they were very chill and like excited. So maybe it's just not something that some parents think is possible for their children. But yeah, I'd love to see her in something else. She was awesome.
Yeah. No, it like, yeah, I think there were no moments in the film where you're just like, it's a shame about that role. Or it's like, that was the only bad bit, you know, okay. But yeah, no, it all worked. Yeah, I liked it. And yet the whole music bit was, that was a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting that. All of a sudden, it's like, and then you just find yourself like, okay, that's a beat. That's a beat. Okay. You're like, no, keep the music going. Come on.
Everyone loves that song. It's like a, you know, from a sound bank that the music supervisor.
Oh, really?
Found. Yeah. I wanted an old classical Bollywood song, and it's so expensive. We just had to go with this version from a sound bank, but it turned out totally great. It's very catchy, and everyone's like, where did you get that song? I want it.
I assumed that was probably, you know, a big, you know, a big slammer of that moment, right?
No, we could not afford that. No way. I mean, Bollywood songs, like I did a lot of research, and you know, on YouTube, they have millions and millions and millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
So as soon as that's there, they know that they can make money from their song. That's fair enough. You couldn't afford it.
No, true. Yeah, so music rights and all of that thing. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah,
it's a crazy thing at times. You know, where because you don't think about that aspect of a film. Right, you think about the script and the, you know, the directing and the acting and all of that, but then suddenly, you know, you'd be like, that's a great song in the film. Why did they have that song? You know, and then you speak to people, you find out it's like, oh yeah, we couldn't have the rights for that, and then we tried to get that, and that was a last minute addition, because you're like, okay, who'd have known?
Sorry, we just have one final minute for a final question. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. So now you know, Slaxx is done, right? So it's just going to be hitting, you know, the greater world next Thursday, right? So yeah, what then? What's the plan?
Well, I have several projects because I'm a Gemini and I'm always writing too much. But the next project I would most like to do is a TV series that I've co-created with Patricia Gomez called Sweet Blood. And it's our interpretation of the vampire myth. If vampires were genetically crippled humans who came to think after thousands of years that they were actually a superior race, and then one of them escapes the vampire world and lives in the suburbs with his human wife, and then his family comes for help because they are dying and can no longer reproduce. So it's like,
so vampires are social media influencers. Is that what you're saying? He's like, interesting. Okay. I see that for sure.
This is we call it our vampire drama. So there's definitely a little comedy, but it's more about alienation and how the modern society, we are really atomized and alienated, and they're brought into contact with this vampire community that are almost like communists, and for whom our North American or Western culture is repellent. And so what happens, it's like a clash of civilizations. Yeah.
Damn. All right, that sounds great. Okay. Right. As we go, let people know where they can find you, you know, so you can follow you and track all these great ideas and projects that are coming.
They can find me on Facebook. I'm not on any other social media because I'm not a big fan. Nope. Stay in my cave and go off to a small town in Morocco and feed goats when I'm not making films. So yeah, no, people can find me on Facebook, and yeah, feel free to reach out. I always answer people, so I'm happy to chat.
Splendid. And so yeah, Slaxx, hitting Shudder. Oh, this is going to be good, people. This is going to be good. Make sure you watch it. And Liza, hopefully we can chat about, you know, what comes next.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're ready to talk about that.
For sure. Nice. Thank you for your questions.
Oh yeah, no, what I forgot to. How much does a video camera weigh? Yeah, that was a big question I wanted to ask. Yeah,
it depends. There can be some very slim, light ones and very heavy ones. So
well, there you have it, people. Now we know. Outstanding. Enjoy the sunny climate of Morocco. Well, yeah, I freeze in London. Yeah,
I'll just watch Slaxx again. It'll trio.
Okay, I will. And hunt down that song. Awesome.
Okay, thank you. You bet.
Really appreciate it. Take care.
Bye, thanks.